Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Foxy News back with you again this evening, and tonight's program will be dedicated to reports of what President Obama's health czar is saying, Dr. Emmanuel. It appears like he wants to abolish the Hippocratic Oath, and he wants people to realize that the only way we can practice medicine is on a sociological basis. And he says this, and we're going to prove other facts on related to it and how they look at this perspective. They look at the perspective of for the good of the all. It's not for the good of the individual. And we're going to prove this to you in a variety of ways. Remember, we all say the same thing, of course. We really work for the state government. We all follow our greatest leaders, of course. President Obama being the most prominent one, but the senators and congressmen, they all have the same philosophy too. And this evening, what we're going to cover is Dr. Emmanuel. Other stations like Foxy News are reporting that he said, get rid of the Hippocratic Oath and everything. Of course, he didn't. He didn't say that at all. He just said that the Hippocratic Oath had to be put behind other sociological pretexts. For example, that the masses are more important than any individual. So doctors shouldn't take a Hippocratic Oath to the point of being on an individual basis, of caring for them and trying to, keep them alive and have the best type of life that they could possibly have, that the doctor should take the Hippocratic Oath as a way to society. They're saying this to overall society, to the masses, not to any individual. So we'll try to show you that and how he really said that, and we'll bring out some other truths and realisms that must be faced in this society. It's only nice thing to do. I mean, that's what's being ethical is being nice. And morality is being nice. So we'll be back with you in a couple minutes after we have a few words from our sponsors and everything. And I want you to know I'm under control now. I won't be raising my arm because I'm taking some medicine that Dr. Emmanuel got me to take. And I feel good. I don't have to raise my arm and say, I don't have to do it. Not anymore. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Foxy News again back with you. And this evening's leading story is that we've made a conglomeration of clips and information and data how the VA has been killing off our American patriots. And the first one was in Phoenix, where they admittedly killed 20 or 30 people because they didn't clean their equipment properly. And then there's a variety of other ones where they couldn't operate on people in time, and they just didn't have the money or the budget. So the people just caught cancer or whatever the problem was, they just died. Of course, this is commonly called death squads that determine this, but, I don't know if it's really death squads. It's just what appears to be happening in the evolution of our society. Anyhow, we're going to present the whole program on that this evening to show how the healthcare system that the government does control at this point, the VA, which is completely government controlled, how it's really been going askew to the point of killing thousands, maybe tens of thousands of veterans, people who risk their lives to save this country. We'll be back with you in a minute, and after a few advertisements. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Back with you. Dan Rather, I got my job back. That's pretty good. And the leading story tonight is very interesting. It's about the VA, how well they're doing. They exemplify what the government can do if they take over health care. And we want to show you this because it's important, because it's significant how well they've been doing. I mean, they kill a few people by making errors, and they can't operate when they need to, especially when somebody has cancer. It's usually sometimes 3 to 6 months later after they discover they have cancer they operate, because they don't have the operating rooms. And, they don't clean their certain equipment, and they die, and, hepatitis and AIDS is being spread. But, this is to be expected. When you have so many people, you can't worry about individual people. You have to worry about the masses. And overall, from the masses' perspective, they're taking care of their veterans. And so we're going to try to show you this in about a 15, 20-minute presentation on how well they're doing, which exemplifies why healthcare should be all controlled by the government. And they're great people, wisdom with their doctors like Dr. Emmanuel, who realizes that the society is so large that we can't worry about the individual. And we're going to try to prove this to you. So we'll be back with you in a couple minutes after a couple words from our sponsors. We have quite a few sponsors, by the way. So we'll be back with you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your wrap-up with Foxy News again. And the leading story this evening is it appears like the police action in Afghanistan is falling apart. We keep losing young men and young women and being tortured for the rest of their lives from their wounds. They're coming home with post-traumatic stress. It's growing and growing, and we're accomplishing nothing there. In fact, we're making the nation more and more hostile towards us. It appears that it's a backward nation, that less than 1% of the people are educated, and the people that are educated educated in the Quran, which is quite a malevolent religion, and they're starting to talk about coming into America and killing Americans because they can't stand that we're trying to change their evolution and change their religion and convert them. So the whole program tonight will be on that, and we're going to go off to advertisement and be back with you with extenuating evidence to this effect. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is state-run news media again, CNN, Fox, and, we all say the same thing. So, and tonight's leading story is how well we're doing in the war in Afghanistan. We're killing a lot of them, and our troops are getting wounded more than they're getting killed. And, they're losing legs, et cetera, and getting infections and post-traumatic stress and everything. But it's not in any significant number. It keeps decreasing and decreasing. It used to be a couple hundred a day. Now it's down to 50 to 100 a day. So it's getting better all the time. And don't worry about your kids. They're fighting a just cause. And someday we'll find the people responsible for 9/11. It surely will happen. And we're going to show evidence to this effect and how well we're doing in our war there. And we're going to talk about spreading it all over the place. I know that the other media, Foxy News, says it's just police actions. It's not really a war, but it is a war. We're engaging the enemy and trying to get them to think our way. And if they don't, we're just going to annihilate them. So we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes with after our sponsors. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the nightly wrap-up from Foxy News, and we're here to stay with you people. And the leading story is that there's been a man on YouTube for the past approximately months, and he's been presenting an enormous amount of evidence establishing that the federal government are communists, and actually that we're all communists. They're just Machiavellian communists. He presents this in a very strong argument. It's just overwhelming, and it's reaching the point that people are discussing it and trying to do what he says, which he proclaims that you must vote these people out of office. So we're reporting this and letting you know that he is on YouTube, and he's under S Comrades, and he's got up about 15-20 videos, and they're quite persuasive. This is the leading story, and we'll proceed on with later stories later after our first advertisements. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is CBS, NBC, CNN. I don't know. We all say the same thing anyhow. I don't know if it's Katie Couric or who it is. Dan Rather, who's trying to get his job back. Doesn't matter. Anyhow, tonight's first major story is, and we're going to cover it briefly for you, is there seems to be a gentleman named Ron Yerman on YouTube that has been proclaiming that the American government, the liberals and Democrats especially, some Republicans too, are starting to slightly migrate to a socialistic perspective. And we want to, disprove all his evidence, and we'll show you that for the next few minutes and everything after we take a commercial break. So we'll be right back with you, and we'll try to explain to you Mr. Yerman's erroneous philosophy and the erroneous facts that he has. We'll be right back with you.